welcome back to another video. Today, before we start this video, make sure to check out my Patreon where I post early content. It could be a day ago, it could be 5 hours before I post on YouTube. This is really just to support me, and I will be posting free members on this, so if you're a member, which you can do for free, you're also going to get, videos. So it's not just pay to win, there will be free stuff. So if you're looking to get the early access content, especially in the future when I'm posting, a lot of solo shuffle, a lot of rogue, a lot of guides, this is the place to go. But otherwise, let's get to it. And the first we're going to be talking about is the War Within PvP tier list. Now, I have went through this a pretty good amount, so I've done solo shuffle, I've done a lot of things, so I'm going to do the best of my ability to obviously do what I can here. So let me switch these a little bit. Okay. Alrighty. So first one, which is going to be obvious, is going to be Arms Warrior. Now Arms Warrior, it's kind of in a weird spot because it does a lot. It does a lot by MS. Like later in the game, having a Arms Warrior in your game is going to be very nice. But they're only used as a huge dampener. That's all they really are, because you just click a cooldown and they pretty much do no damage the entire game. So that's going to easily make them A tier, but that's pretty much all it is. I still think they're viable. And I see an Arms Warrior literally in every single game almost. Same thing with Fury Warriors. They just won't get out of my games. And they're definitely good, but they're not Fury level good. They're not A plus tier, but they are good. They're viable. You'll see a lot of these guys, and that's pretty much it. Next one is going to be Fury Warrior. Fury is easily going to be... Where is Fury Warrior? It's going to be... Fury Warrior, where you at? Here he is. It's going to be A plus tier. I almost messed. I tried to find that for a second. I was like, what did I delete it? So we got A plus on the Fury Warrior. It's pretty much an obvious right now. They just do a ton of damage and they just run around like no care in the world. They go about. They just don't stop doing damage. They will always annoy you to the maximum capacity that somebody can annoy you. That's what a Fury Warrior is. But still good, and I'd say it's way better than Arms right now, just because of the consistency that you get. And then their burst is like AoE huge. It's just a nice spec right now. Next one is going to be Feral Druid, which is going to be above Fury, but below everything else. Feral Druid is really good. The only downside to Feral Druids is you die really quick. So it's all dependable as if you know how to play defensively, and that's the only reason it's not S tier. Because its defensive cooldowns kind of just suck. It dies, like if you can sit on a Feral Druid, he'll have to sit and barrier form 90% of the game, and then he's doing no damage. And that's just how it is. But it's still really insane, especially if you know how to play it. Next one is going to be Boomy. Boomy's going to be around where Warrior is. Still playable, still viable. You could probably say that Boomy is lower, but based off how many I've faced, it's kind of a hard spec to play. I'm gonna put it at B tier for now, but I don't know. I faced a bunch of Boomy. I faced a Boomy like every couple games. I faced one, but maybe it's just that's just how it goes. Just because I faced a lot, it could have just been lucky. So we'll put it at that. Next one is going to be Resto Druid, which is also going to be a really bad healer. Now it might do healing and it might be great for CC, but it dies insanely quick. Its healing is it has good burst healing, like with its trees, but after that, they just can't heal. Like you just perma purge all their hots, and that's the problem with all this meta. Everyone has a purge, so literally this is purge, and it's just the most annoying thing of all life. You put up so, and then it's just not good. Trust me. If you face a Resto Druid, you might want to go Resto Druid on goes that you have stun. That's all I'm saying. Next one that we're going to be going over is going to be Shaman. Resto Shaman is going to be not that great, I don't think. I'd say it's better than Resto Druid, like, overall, but that's all there is to it. Their healing's not terrible, but at the same time, it is kind of terrible. Resto Shams are meant to free cast, and they're supposed to use totems and riptides. Yeah, and it doesn't do much healing. This isn't a Dragonflight. Now, if this was Dragonflight, then like Dragonflight Shaman was insane. But that's pretty much all there is to it. Next one, Enhancement Shaman, which is gonna be pretty high up on this list, to be honest. It's gonna be easily A plus tier, and I would put it behind Fury Warrior and Feral, but still up there. Enhancement does insane amount of damage. It has everything you want. Obviously, it's kind of like Feral. It does die, but at the same time, it does a ton of burst. When they pop off, they are popping off. I'd say Fury Warrior's better for overall consistency, which Enhancement Shaman still have a. They're both really good. That's all there is really to it. Elemental Shaman, we all know their burst is insane. I'd definitely put Ellie above Enhance, and I'd probably put Fury over Ellie just because of the consistency capacity. But Elemental Shamans, they just do unhealable burst damage. It's like 2.5 to 4 mil Earth Shocks, and it's just non-stop. You killing the entire team on your burst. It's literally enhancement as a caster. That's it. It's mind-blowingly like broken. Next one is going to be Mage. Frost Mage is going to be pretty solid on the list, to be honest. It does a lot of burst damage. Now, it has the same problem as other specs that are meant to be doing burst, is their consistency kind of just sucks. But their burst does enough to where it's like, okay, they have to be scared of me. That's the problem with all these dampeners. Dampener, like I'd say Feral Druid's even a dampener now. And I'd say all of these other than maybe Enhance. Even that I'd say this is a dampener. Just because they're all based around burst. After your burst, you do nothing. Other than like your CC chain, that's it. But still really good, still viable. Fire Mage is going to be awful. I'd say Boomy is better than Mage, Frost Mage, and honestly, I'm gonna put Boomy back up to A tier. I still think it's viable. I faced a lot of them, and I think they're actually really good. I don't think they're like insane, but I think they're like arms warrior level good. They have everything they want. They just obviously defensively wise, they could definitely use survival instincts. Is all I'm saying. We have Arcane Mage, which is actually going to be pretty good to be honest. If I had to put this somewhere, it's gonna be pretty high up on this A plus or the A tier. I honestly want to play Arcane, but it dies. Like having one block is just. I feel like every mage spec right now should have two blocks. That's how like it just needs to be like that. Some classes just their defensive cooldowns just get purged instantly. Alter time's not a cooldown, and then you have one block which gets used in the opener because your alter time gets purged in the first 3 seconds of the game. But I think the burst damage is insane. If you watch my old videos, you'll see that Arcane does a ton of burst damage, and that's pretty much all there is to it. Next is going to be Lock. Warlock is in a interesting spot. I'd say it's behind Boomy and Arcane and Arms, but it's definitely coming up. They do a ton of bolt damage. You have to be a good Destro Warlock, because this requires the same thing as a Boomy. You need to be fake casting so you can get fears, so you can get Chaos Bolts. If you don't do that, obviously it's gonna look really bad. But if you face a solid Warlock, Destro, they'll absolutely just Chaos Bolt to your face. You're going from 100 to 40 to 0. They do a lot of damage. Next, we have Affliction Warlock, which is actually going to be really insane. Their damage is way overwhelmingly. I would say, if I had to put this somewhere, I'd put it right behind Ellie, because Ellie has just immense burst, like literally 2 shot worth of burst, and then it still does a little bit of consistency. Affliction Warlock does burst and consistency, and Affliction Warlock, you're much scared of a Affy than you are a Mage or an Enhance or any of these other classes down below. So I would say, possibly you could say, honestly, we could say that, is it better than Feral Druid? Think. I don't know. Maybe we'll switch this. I don't know. You can argue that Feral's not the better because, I face way more Affylocks, but maybe I'll change it in the future. So, wait until the end of the video before you guys, say something in the comments, because I'll be like, oh, you didn't watch the rest of the video. Next one is going to be Demon Warlock, which unfortunately is not going to be the greatest, but it is going to be up there. So, I would probably put it behind Boomy and Arcane, but again, it's just meant to be a stun bot. I haven't faced a Demon Warlock yet, only in like a few times in twos. I've never, all my solo shuffle games that I played on other accounts, quote unquote, the accounts that I got, that, so that's pretty much it. I think Demon Warlock's playable, but is it as good as the A plus tier? No. Not at all. Next is going to be a Dev Evoker, which is actually going to be pretty good on the list as well. I'd say Frost is better because of the amount of everything involved. You have two blocks, you have a longer range kick, you have they're kind of equal to be honest. This guy has unlimited CC, this guy has unlimited. It's confusing. It really just depends on the situation. You could say this is better than this or this is better than that. You know, who knows. And then we have Aug Evoker, which is absolutely terrible. I'd say Fire Mage is more playable than Aug. That's how bad Aug is. Even if Aug got buffed, and the only way it's going to become good is if it literally one-shots like when it came out the first time. That's just all there is to it. Or it just becomes immortal, like a Blood DK, and it just can do some like exploiting type of thing. But otherwise, I don't think it's that good. Sure, maybe you could say it can compete, but I'm not going to say that right now until I've seen it. The next one is going to be Prez Evoker, which is going to be actually pretty good. I'd say it's A plus tier. I think there's only a few healers in the game right now that can compete, which is going to be Prez Evoker, H-Pal, Disc, and Mistweaver. Those are your four healers to choose from. There's not... Sure, you might be able to say Holy Priest is valuable, but, you know, even if it got a buff, it's still, I don't think it's the same, all that still. And now we're going on to the BM Hunter. BM Hunter is easily our top dog. And the only reason there's going to be a few S tiers is because you're talking about a class that got nerfed and is still the best. So it's kind of just how it is. You could say Pharaoh Druid and these are low S, but there's no point. I literally got a bunch of shade thrown my way because I put so many in the S tier and they didn't understand. Oh, this isn't equal. So I'm just not even gonna bother. That's pretty much it. Next, we're gonna be going with Survival Hunter, which is gonna be, I would say, behind Boomy due to the fact that it doesn't have spammable CC. It does have CC, but off its burst, you're not doing much damage. And there's a chance you could say it's viable in the sense. So that's pretty much all there is to it. So it's viable. Is it going to be insane? It's going to do a good amount of damage, but defensive cooldown wise, it's not going to be anywhere near BM. And that's just all there is to it. Next, we have MM Hunter, which is going to be another one of our specs that I'd say it's better than Fire Mage and Aug, but it's not fun to play and it's not good. If you're a rank 1 player, you can make it work. Obviously, you can make anything work, but we're talking about an overallness. It's not that good. You're not going to see, maybe in Blitz you'll see a good amount of these guys. Maybe in, other than that, you're not really going to see them. You're going to see a lot of BM and Survival Hunters. Next is going to be Rogue. Outlaw Rogue. After a while of watching some people, I figured out that Outlaw is actually pretty good. I would say its CC makes it around here. So I think with all of it in bind here, I'd say Outlaw it deserves the A plus tier, and I don't think it's above Affliction Warlock, Pharaoh Druid, or maybe we can go, yeah, maybe that's right. Or we could say this. Again, it's kind of confusing how to, like, it doesn't really matter, honestly. So I think, Outlaw is really good, it's doing well. And I think Pharaoh-wise, Pharaoh has damage and CC, which makes it a better rogue. Affliction Warlock has unhealable CC and damage. Outlaw just has damage on his burst. And that makes it not as good as Pharaoh or Affliction Warlock because they have damage 24/7. Next one we have is Sub Rogue. Sub Rogue is going to be playable, but it's not going to be the best. So if I had to put it somewhere, I'd put it right here. Its burst damage is great, but off its burst, it's all dependent. It's like a Blood DK. If you don't have a good teammate that does a lot of damage, you're going to lose 9 times out of 10. Because Sub Rogue just is a dampener. It does no damage off of its burst. So you basically use your burst in the opener, and it all comes down to, okay, it gets high enough damp where you just kill them through their CDs. And that's just it. Still viable, still, okay, but that's all, it's just a burst reliant spec, kind of like the other ones. And then we have Assassination Rogue, which is going to be pretty good in this list. If I had to put Assass somewhere, it would probably be right here. So, better than Enhanced Frost Mage and Dev Evokers, just because you have a consistency of AoE damage, kind of like an Ellie, or just the other specs. And that's all there is, really, to it. But, next one, I'm kind of speed this up a little bit. We're going to be going with this Frost DK. Frost DK is actually in a good spot. After the buffs, it's been doing very well. I would say it's better than Enhancement and Frost Mage and Dev. Not better than Ellie because it has see, the problem with these, they have consistency. Frost DK does literally no damage off its cooldowns. None. It does not an inch. And if you know how to play versus the Frost DK and never let him grip you in, they just waste an entire 2 minutes or 1 minute of doing nothing. But that's all. That's all it is. Next is going to be Unholy DK. So Unholy DK is probably going to be somewhere around here. So I think Survival Hunter, Boomy, Sub Rogue is better. The problem with Unholy DKs is they don't do any pressure off their burst. When you make an AoE class like this, it has to be AoE. That's why this should be for PvE and Frostmage should be the main for PvP. Because these are all burst reliant specs. Without burst, they're not doing much. And that's how it should be. It should be burst reliant. Some of these classes do damage 24/7 though, like Affliction Warlocks and like maybe Feral Druid and maybe Ellie. Like that's just how it is. I would love Sub Rogue to be the meta, and then Destro be the Warlock, Feral be the. It's more fun when it's more skill, but that's just it is what it is. Next one we're gonna be going over is going to be Ret Paladin, which is gonna be pretty solid on this list. Ret is gonna be, if I had to put it somewhere, it would probably be. I think right here would work. I think it's better than Frost DK because of its CC. I mean, Frost DK has good CC, but it's like 1 minute CC. You have Hodge and Blind. You have Big Dam. You have Bop, Sack, Bubble, Lance. You got a lot of utility for your team. So it's going to be really good. Next one is going to be. Somebody like my comment. Appreciate it. Close that out. Next one is going to be. Let's go with Shadow Priest. Shadow Priest is also a really strong spec. And if I had to guess where it would probably be right here. I think Affliction Warlock is the second number to the best, only because it just does so much damage. SP does good burst damage, but I feel like Affliction Warlock, it literally kills you. You're dead. You're just all dead. Shadow Priest is kind of like a more burst spec that you're doing a lot of bursts when you burst, but like Affliction Warlock is just unhealable damage all the time. Next is going to be Disc Priest. Disc is going to be your secondary healer. So I'd say Disc is better than Evoker only due to the fact that it's a utility. Again, utility over anything else. Because the more utility that class has, the harder it is to kill them. And that's why Disc Priest, H-Pals, and Prince Evoker, just the other classes have, a good matchup. But that's pretty much it. Holy Priest is going to be A tier. Now it is still viable. So by no means, I've faced a lot of Holy Priests. It does a ton of healing. Their cooldowns, like their defensives for their teammates, is kind of non-existent. They don't have like a damage reduction spell, which is why they've been so bad. Had to get a drink of my cold ice water because I'm talking too much. My bad. And yeah, I'd say it's still viable, and I'd say it's better than WrestleShaman. But they're both just similar, to be honest. You couldn't just say this and go, we'll just say that. For the means of an argument being done before you guys come at me hard. That sounded sus, but okay. Next one is going to be H-Pow, which is going to be the best healer in the game currently. It just does a lot. Now, there are situations where you get countered. Like if you're an H-Pow and you face a priest or a President Evoker, there's certain comps that counter you and healers that counter. Just because this healer counters somebody else, it doesn't mean your class is worse. It just means you're just bad matchup into that class. So I think all three of these are pretty much the perfect ones. On top of that, I think Mistweaver is going to be A tier, and then this is going to be your top dogs here. And I think Mistweaver is still really good. Still does I see a lot of Mistweavers still. But I think Disc Priest, Pres Evokers, and H-Pals are going to be these are going to be your top three healers. This is all I face, other than maybe the occasional Holy Priest and Mistweaver. but that's pretty much all there is to it. So next room is Windwalker. Windwalker is actually not doing too bad. It does a lot of burst. I've seen a good amount of these guys. And if I had to put it somewhere, I would put it right here. So I'd put it in front of Assassination Rogue, but behind Elemental Shaman. Again, Windwalker has no consistency. It has a ton of burst. And off its burst, it takes a ton of damage. They have a good amount of CDs, don't get me wrong. But if you focus Windwalker, they're going to die pretty quick. Or, well, it depends, obviously, but you know what I'm trying to say. I think it's really good. Still belongs up in these. Again, these are all close to each other. You, so all of these are like going to be the meta. So the ones up here are going to be stronger than the ones down there. If that makes any sense. I made a whole new thing to show you guys, but I might have to make another row. And then we have DH, ladies and gentlemen, our last class on the list. If I had to put DH somewhere in a logistic spot, it would probably be the top dog of B tier. I still think it does a good amount of damage, but off its burst, it's not that good. Like, on your burst damage, sure, it's great, and it has the damage to do something, but it dies insanely quick. It's like you're not getting the damage worth of the risk. Because if you get stunned with no trinket, you're dead. It's not worth the risk of playing with the damage they have now. But this is pretty much my tier list, ladies and gentlemen. Again, the ones at the top are going to be high A+. The ones at the midfield are going to be lower. So hopefully you guys heard this and read it. Let me know if you think anything else needs to be changed. But this is pretty much my thoughts on it, in my opinion. So comment down below. Hopefully you guys want to see more of these, because I like voicing my opinion. But let me know. It's been X. Make sure to check out my Patreon.